Alright, today we're going over the latest Strixhaven WitherBloom Precon new cards that we got. Pretty spicy stuff. I was actually pretty excited for Golgari, aka WitherBloom, for the main set, where they look like they had some pretty decent goodies. Hopefully we'll see a continuation of that. I did note that there are some pretty flavorful cards in here. Straight away, you can see a Master Chef and perhaps something I thought would harken back to an old card, but it actually isn't. But we'll get into that. So first off, looking at Guillaume Master Chef, it's Golgari Commander with Troll Warlock with Trample. He creates some food when you play creatures. That seems like the easiest trigger ever in Golgari. Play some creatures, they're coming knocking on your door for some food, and you just give it to them. That's a chef. That's one you gotta hire. Okay. Sacrifice the food, target creature gains indestructible because he ate it up, and it gets tapped. Of course, his belly's full. This is really flavorful. I think it's pretty self-sufficient. If you do have some cool food payoffs, this becomes pretty nice because all you need to do is play some creatures. Equal to the number of non-token creatures entered this battlefield this turn. It's the beginning of your end step, so there's no way to flood it like crazy, but still, maybe you go like Voltron with this. Maybe go Artifact Tribal. There's some cool stuff you can go with this. I don't know what they are. I don't play Golgari, but that's kind of decent. It's kind of neat. It's definitely a cute card. Then we have Tavash Gloom Summoner. It's a 4 and a black for a human warlock dude. Not too crazy, to be honest. 5 mana with 4/4 with lifelink that creates a 4/4 every turn. Kind of slow. I think you're getting at most one dude out of this thing, and then you're just the game's over. I don't know about this one. This one kind of weak, to be honest. Looks cool. You got a little raven suit in the back. You got a sacrificial blade. It's common for warlocks, right? He's kind of cool. But for a 4/4 demon for 5, you have to wait 2 turns to get that. Debatable, to be honest, but that's fine. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't see a deck where you play this, right? If you're going a black commander deck, maybe, maybe. But if you're not playing black commander, what are you doing? A black commander token deck. That's what I meant to say. If I said something else, I don't know what I said, but maybe I'm too tired here. This card just doesn't see. Also, I thought this card was that one planeswalker that we saw before, Tevesh Set. But it's not. This is something completely else. Unless it might be. But before Tevesh Set became Tevesh Set. This is just Tavash. Gloom Summoner. Anyways, next up we've got Eudora Gravegardner. 4 and a green for a legendary creature treefolk druid. AKA Ashaya. Wait, is it Shaya? Is that the... I'm thinking of Nisa's plant thing. Ashaya, Soul of the Wild, MTG combo. Okay, yeah, Ashaya is the one. Which was Nisa's plant one time, I believe. From her Planeswalker card. Yeah, this reminds me exactly what's her name again? Ashaya? I don't play green either, okay? You guys just know it's full-blooded mono-white player here. Sometimes red. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, or whenever a non-token creature dies, you may return it to the battlefield. You may, interesting, face down under its owner's control. It's a forest land, 5/5. That's interesting. So if you board wipe, you just ramp the people. Whenever another non-token. I don't see how you're getting that flip. Maybe she says board wipe protection. But at that point, it's you don't have that card anymore. But you basically, if you're playing green, not too much else, you're probably not doing too much in your graveyard. So maybe it's fine. This is a fine card. It's not a Shaya, but it's a fine card. I think it's definitely weaker than a Shaya. You still require non-token creatures, but also you need those creatures to die to get the value out of it. Where a Shaya is immediately, just smack dab. This gonna take a minute. That's fine though. That's fine. Next up we have Azure Channeler, 5 and a green for a treefolk druid. Each creature spells you cast cost access for X amount of life you gain this turn, and it has tap to gain 2 life or 6. 2 mana. 2 mana rock. It could go mana positive, but what life gain decks are you playing to get this? maybe like a green-white deck. At that point, it's like most of your creatures are probably low and slow, because you're playing that color, Celestia. I'm not feeling this card. Not feeling this one. Then we have Vane Witch Coven, 2 and a black for creature, vampire, warlock. Who's the actual creature it's trying to depict? Maybe it's the one in the front? Or maybe it's one in the back? This guy looks like he's like stranded. He's like stranded in the woods. His untimely demise. Maybe it's timely. Menace. Whenever you gain life, you may pay black. If you do, return target creature card from your yard to your hand. 3/3. Jeez, all these are super conditional. Maybe it's because there's so many pests in this set that it's like they just expect you to gain life. Maybe that's fine. But like paying a black to get a creature back from graveyard is really good. But you have to gain, there's that one hoop that sort of brings it down a little bit, which I think is the life gain. I don't think you're playing too many life gain cards in a deck that wants to play in the graveyard. That's just such a relatively high hoop to pass for something you want to do that seems so obviously easy to do in black without any other thing to do. Like the hoop just isn't worth it, right? Unless you're playing for like I guess you're playing like Master Chef where you gain life for stacking the food. But drawing a card for gaining a life and a black, and there's just too many hoops for this, okay? I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Then we got Sproutback Trudge, 7 and green for creature fungus. Whenever the spell costs X for X amount of life you gain. If trample at the beginning of your end step, you gain life this turn. You may cast Sproutback Trudge from a graveyard. Okay, another life gain. This thing looks sick. This is like an ancient turtle thing, right? It's a fungus beast. This thing is like a millennia years old. That's how that works. Is that the tongue? It's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. This is a cool card. Probably not too good, but it's a fine card. Then we've got Essence Pulse. Gain 2 life. Each creature gets -X on turn, where X on life you gain this turn. Probably another who. I just don't think these life gain cards are good. Like, this might be the bottom of the barrel, to be honest, in regards to the precons. Like, this really seems kind of low to me. Blight Mound. Attacking pests, you get +1/+1 have menace. Whenever a non-token creature. Okay, Pest Tribal card. Okay. Pest Infestation. XX and a green. Oops. Destroy up to X target artifacts and/or enchantments. Create twice X 1/1 black green pest creature token. With this creature dies, you gain 1 life. So this is exactly like that one card. I forgot what it was called. It was like Release the Gremlins from Kaladesh, where you can destroy X artifacts and create X gremlins, which are 2/2s. This is kind of like that. Except this is definitely better. This is just strictly better. It can create more bodies, which in the end will gain you more life when they die, and also it can just hit enchantments. This is crazy. Is that like a showing of power creep? No, it just shows you how good a color is. I guess so. Like, you can just compare the cards and see how much stronger this is comparably. Like, is there any, unless you're like racing to get the taller creature, like this is just better than Release the Gremlins. But I do have to say, Release the Gremlins does have cooler art. It does have cooler art. Yeah, this is a fine card. I think you can play this card sometimes in like mid-power decks. I think it'd be fine. You get like a decent amount of value if you want to like sack these things later. And plus you get to destroy something. So at the floor, it's I mean, you're not playing it for 0, right? So it's 3 mana, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Create 2 1/1s that also gain you 2 life. It's probably a fine card. The Sword Test is a sorcery, but it's probably a fine card. Next up, we have Trudge Garden, 2 and a green enchantment. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, create 4/4. It seems kind of decent. If you had like an Essence Warden, it sort of like draws a card, kind of. It kind of does like the whole white token creation thing, except it's look at this could totally. I mean, tokens are every color, but imagine this being white. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 4/4 angel with flying. It could be like God's Garden or something like that. This could be totally white. I could see that. Like, this is a decent card. I think this is a fine card. Maybe mid and below, I would say. Revival Experiment. 4 black and green sorcery. For each permanent type, return up to 1 card from the graveyard to the battlefield. You lose 2 life for each card returned this way. Exile Revival Experiment. Whoa, this art is dope, but also that effect. For each permanent type, return up to 1 target card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's cheating mana costs, and it's giving you card advantage by putting it straight on the board. Okay, that's a pretty neat effect. Good thing it exiles itself. 3 life. I mean, you're playing EDH, you have tons of life. You're playing a food deck if you're right. No, seriously though. This is decent. Like, there's 9 card types, but half those are like not permanent types. So on average, this is probably netting you something like a creature and an artifact. Maybe a land. Or creature, land, maybe an artifact. Creature, land, maybe an enchantment. So if you get 4... If you're cheating 4 things out, let's see. So it's 6 divided by 4. Maybe do less. 6 divided by 3. If you're being generous. Or it's conservative here. So they all have to have like 2 or more mana for this to be worth it. Right? I think this card is like fine in like slower metas. Mid power. Maybe high power if you're trying to cheat something out. Like, this is a neat effect. Like, cheating costs, card advantage, all in one. This is a neat effect. This is a good card. I think it's a decent card. Then we got Marshland, Bloodcaster, 4 and a black, flying rather than pay the mana cost. Next spell, cast a turn, may pay life. Equal that spell's mana cost, mana value, 3/5. Cool card, cool card. Is there a card like this? Oh, wait. This is Bolas's Citadel, right? On a creature. Probably too slow. It costs the same as... No, it's 1 less than Bolas's Citadel. But literally, the time you cast something off Bolas's Citadel, you can activate this. Bolas's Citadel is probably just like better at that point. This is a fine card. I don't think it's worth playing though. Blossoming Bog Beasts. Whenever Blossoming Bog Beasts attacks, you gain 2 life. Then creatures you control get +X and tremble, where X amount of life you gain this turn. Alright, and our last, but maybe even least. Healing Technique. 3 and a green sorcery with Demonstrate. Return target card from graveyard to your hand. You gain life equals to the card's mana value. Exile Healing Technique. I had mixed feelings on these cards. I think Healing Technique is probably one of the... I don't know. I think they're all relatively similar. Like, I was feeling bad about the white one being perhaps maybe the worst, but I think where I look back at it now, I don't like its Destroy, and a bunch of these are returning things from their graveyards, like the black one. I think Exile would have been a little better, but it does cost 1 less than like the 5 mana ones. That is the black one, the blue one, and the red one. So it comes down earlier, and also creating 2 treasure to get rid of something that you don't want on the board is probably fine. Like, I think if you're playing in a game that requires you to play a 4 mana destroy your target permanent card, like, you're probably going the long game, and they probably could have played something nasty, and they just hadn't until they don't have anything else to cast in their hand. Yeah, I think these cards are generally fine in the ballpark. You're paying 4 mana to get back 2 cards from your graveyard, so that's a little more actually than Glimmer of Genius, or a little less than Glimmer of Genius. Actually, no, it's about the same as Glimmer of Genius, assuming you have stuff in your graveyard. And usually people have things in their graveyards. This is a fine card. It does exile itself, so you can't like do a bunch of shenanigans, but this is fine. This is a fine card. Also, you have to also think about that your opponents usually have things in their graveyard too, so when you do demonstrate this, it's more like gonna be a little more worse than just having like Glimmer of Genius. But you do get card selection in this case. I don't know. I think, okay, out of all of them, I think, maybe I'll do a video on that. I think this is probably going to be maybe... I think this is middle of the pack. I think this is middle of the pack, to be honest. Like, the life gain doesn't matter, but returning the card for card advantage is probably fine. If you do choose an opponent, you can choose an opponent too. Maybe you're playing against someone who doesn't have anything in their graveyard. If that's the case, then this could be like a Glimmer of Genius, basically. Just hit someone with no graveyard shenanigans. Sans black. This could be fine in that case. Anyways, Tell me what you guys think about these cards in the comments below. I will say favorite cards I've seen thus far. I think literally all in the same row. I think we've got the Revival Experiment, the Trudge Garden, and the Pest Infestation, which are pretty neat. Kind of thinking about just very much slightly about the Bolus Citadel card because it's a strong effect. Play like some huge creepy, like, I don't know, can you combo? Like, it's basically just like ramp, right? It's like black ramp. Yeah, I mean, it's still in the same row. These seem like decent cards. I don't think most of these cards are too strong, but that's what you expect in a precon, right? Anyways, what do you guys think about these? Comment below. Peace out. I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.